Lorraine Robinson, we are live.
Colin Manford, we are live, and not just live, we are very, very excited this evening. Colin is officially a kid in a candy store. Do you want to tell us why, Colin?
Yes, I had a caramel latte at Costa.
That's not what I mean.
But also, we are returning to the guests. We've got guests now. We're going to have guests on the show. So this is Playing Comedy, episode 4, and we're going to go straight into it because I watched the first show back and it took me about 10 minutes to bring Martin on. So we're not doing it this time. My good friend Daliso Chaponda is joining us on the show. Welcome, Daliso.
I'm here. Though at first I was a little offended because when you first announced that I was going to be here, you said something like, "He's a very nice guy." You never want to be described as the nice guy.
Yeah, but you're also not trying to sleep with me. That's fine.
It's true. So it's okay. It's okay.
When you've been friend zoned in the past and they go, "Oh, we can't go out with you. You're just too nice."
You're just too nice. I was like, I'm not nice.
You're like a brother. Well, I'm a big fan of incest. Doesn't matter. Women don't like that either.
Well, there's something for the Manford brand.
That's what they might. Oh yeah, God. So a bit about Daliso then, Lorraine, because you've met him now. You're getting on, and
we've had coffee.
Yes, we have.
And there was a great moment in the car, wasn't there, where you kind of both went, "Have we met before?" You both, "No, we haven't." But then you have.
We have.
You remember, didn't you?
I did. I remembered your face.
I feel amazing. I didn't know why. I was memorable. I was thinking, you've seen those shots, but then no, it wasn't that, was it? So that was good. Yeah,
so
we met briefly, didn't we, in Manchester?
At Seven Brothers.
Yes.
Seven Brothers, a fine bar and a fine brewery.
Feel free to sponsor us if you want. You know.
I will plug everything right now.
No more. Wait for the money.
I will plug no further more for you, Seven Brothers. So a bit about Daliso.
Let's go for it.
Got quite the impressive CV. So, as you all know, 4 years ago this week, actually, was Britain's Got Talent 2017. Daliso was Amanda Holden's Golden Buzzer act.
Yeah.
And one of the really fun things which happened when I was doing that is you were running a pub and you had like a viewing, but you got people to wear Daliso t-shirts.
Yeah.
There were Daliso t-shirts
nice.
and Daliso masks.
But that got you in trouble.
But that was funny because the pub was in Oswaldtwistle, which is East Lancs, which, if you don't know Oswaldtwistle, and I don't care about saying this now, it's I'd say 90% white and only connected to the motorway 20 years ago. So you can imagine what kind of place we're living in, right? And there were some people that weren't welcome in the pub. So we wore these masks. Daliso, we've been friends for years and years, and also friends with my ex-wife, and we had this pub together. So we were supporting our friend. We had these t-shirts, we had the masks made. We was accused of blacking up. We was accused.
A mask does not count.
It's not like.
Don't say that these days though, because you'll get in trouble for saying that.
Oh well.
Masks.
Oh God, yeah.
Actually, you need to bring back the Daliso mask for COVID.
Yeah.
That's what I should just sell as merch.
But not in Oswaldtwistle.
Not in Oswaldtwistle. It wouldn't sell one in Oswaldtwistle.
No. Certain parts of Lancashire are not down for that. No.
It's such a weird. I always talk like Oswaldtwistle. Have you ever seen Goodnight Sweetheart?
Yeah.
With Nicholas Lyndhurst?
I've not.
It's like he walks down an alleyway and he's in World War II. You know, back in the day, and that's what Oswaldtwistle like. You're driving down the motorway. Oh, it's nice. You're seeing a sign for Blackburn and Accrington, and then suddenly you're just Oswaldtwistle. You're going, oh, you've all got
everyone's
a bit of a
in beige coats. Yeah, nice.
Kick one, they all limp. But anyway, I'm not making friends anymore over there.
You don't live there now. It's fine.
But off the back of Britain's Got Talent, and we'll talk about that in a second, you did the Champion Show as well, which was a great show. You did the Royal Variety.
That was great. Though I did the Royal Variety the 1 year where we don't shake hands with royalty.
Wow.
Because the COVID year.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited, but I was like, I get to. I don't get to shake hands.
Did you curtsy though?
Who was the royalty that year?
It was Prince Charles.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
Charles.
So he would have shook your hand?
He would have.
Philip, yeah.
Yeah. It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. And also, it was great because, you see, my dad doesn't understand comedy. In that, like, if I tell him I've just done a big show, he doesn't understand. But he understands royalty, right? So finally, there was something I was like, you're on a royal show? And he could brag about it to his friends because he understands that.
That is amazing.
It was wonderful. Oh, for my dad, he was top of the world.
That was it. That was the moment because you got a brother who's a doctor, haven't you?
Yes, I've got a brother doctor. Also, because it's the royal show, I was like dressed in a tux again. My dad understands that.
Yeah,
he's doing a thing for royalty in a tux. This is great.
So your brother's like constantly performing, and then all of a sudden
he can show people. Look,
that's my boy. Yeah,
that's my boy.
Finally, it's paying off.
Yes, exactly.
That is glorious.
Oh wow.
Right then, so you have also done QI, The Apprentice, Good Evening Britain, and you've literally toured the world.
Yes, and I am touring now in COVID times, I did a tour show a week and a half ago. No, well, literally the first week it was allowed. And it's really bizarre. But it's funny, but it's like everyone was wearing masks. There were 200 people in an 800-seater, spread out disparately. It was so bizarre. But at the same time, people have been sitting at home for a year, so they'll take it in whatever form it is. They're like, just be funny.
What's the sound like, though? Because you're expecting so much coming at you.
It's in your head.
Is it?
It's in your head. Because it's like it's a light titter spread out all around the room. But again,
you're not like, right, if you're going to laugh.
In a kitchen all alone, so I'll take you spread out in mask.
Oh God! So have you got much more gigs like that, or are they starting to open
till
up
the
with
end
more
of this
people?
year? I'm touring and doing comedy in whatever form it is.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like, so the guidelines are going to change, and hopefully, as we go, they're going to get more and more full. But right now, it is what it is. But people are just so happy to be back.
Yeah, I think so.
One funny thing though is I looked around, and the average age of people who'd come to see me was like 65. And I was like, oh, it's double jab people.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
They were like, we're going out.
We're doing it.
I was like, yeah, it's
why not? Yeah,
it's the time.
Welcome.
It's the time.
Yeah.
Is your material acceptable for that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's
They've
it's not
done
Colin.
everything.
So it's not Colin then.
They've
right,
done no. People always misjudge old people. They say, oh, it's old people. We're going to get less dirty for the show. I'm like, they did it all. They invented it all.
Point.
No,
Swingers. The Summer of Love.
Yeah, do you know what? It's a very good point because that's psychology again. We talk about this in the first show. There's a psychology in comedy that you naturally look at an old person and go, "Oh, I can't do a wanking joke now." But
it's a respect thing, isn't it?
I think so. But then once I give them the option sometimes. Some of my material is that filthy that I always like in Ramsbottom the other day.
I'd say it goading them.
I kind of go, here's your options. On the count of 3, if you cheer, I'll give you the dirty one. If you don't, here's a nice story about my nana.
Yeah. But do you actually have the story about the nana?
Yeah, and it's...
but I'm glad you do because there's some comedians who give the option who only have one.
Yeah.
They're committing to it.
They panic when people ask for the clean one because there wasn't a clean one.
Yeah. Have you ever told that joke, the clean one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's based in an airport, so it's relevant to travel as well.
Oh, well, there you go. Don't give it away. That could be our...
No, the thing is, I need all them jokes, though, because I'm now... So we're setting up these gigs, these plain comedy gigs, that are going to be weekly.
Yes.
Which I'm pretty much going to be emceeing every single week. So eventually...
Oh, you run out of stuff.
I'm going to have to go back to when I first started and going, oh, here's a joke I did when I was a student. Yeah. I'll read the paper as we discussed. Yeah. It's just whatever works.
Live comedy.
Yeah. Here's what happened in Bury this week. You know, it's... but yeah, it's madness, isn't it? It's but it's good to be back out.
It's so good to be back. Also, it wasn't even the show. It was the next day after the first show with people. I was like, I feel like myself again.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've really, the last year, I was positive because I generally am, but I was a little bit down and a little bit, and it's just felt like, oh, I'm back.
So something I've noticed going to these gigs with Colin, and obviously I've been very privileged. I've been in the corner, which we're calling the green room because we're trying to sound glamorous. When the comics come off, there's a high, there's this like amazing kind of, I'm in this bubble watching everyone and they're buzzing away. When you do that on Zoom and none of you are together and you switch off, how does that feel? Because you're just like, done.
It was, the thing with the Zoom is though, it kept us going.
Yeah.
Right? You know, these digital shows, but it was sort of like somebody who's like, you know, addicted to cigarettes going on the patch.
Yeah.
It's not the same, but it keeps you going. Right, but once you go back to the cigarette, you're just like, oh my God!
Where's the lighter? Yeah.
No, because I was kept sane by doing digital shows, but now that I've done a live one, I'm like, yes,
it just feels right, doesn't it? I was lucky enough to get a gig on day 1 of lockdown lifting, and I was just that laughter. There's nothing like it. That kind of once you get up there, and it's glorious. It's glorious.
Glorious. It's our word of the show. It's going to be a glorious show.
Glorious is a good word.
Yeah.
But it's been nice to see the comedians just get that buzz back. Because I think you're right with that kind of Zoom and clicking off. That's where the loneliness does kick in. Because normally after a gig, people want pictures or they want to talk to you.
It's a very sociable industry.
The first 3 months of lockdown, number 1, last year, February, I was living all alone, right? Center of Manchester in a flat alone. And there was serious mental health risks because I was fine for a week. And then by the second week, I just started getting more. You go for a walk once a day, and then the rest of the time you're just in isolation, sitting there looking at screens. Yeah. And I was just so depressed. And it's like, I think that's because Britain is relatively wealthy on the global scale, it wasn't so much a physical trial unless you knew someone who got it. It was more of a mental trial of just going through it. And it's like there was a point where I would have hugged anyone.
Well, even when you left your apartment you're in, even when you leave, you're reminded. Because when I stepped out of my house, my garden's people everywhere. If anything, it was like, oh, hi, I've never seen you before, chatting to the neighbours, making more friends. You're just walking out into an empty city that's normally noisy.
It was so bizarre.
I've
used this metaphor before. I felt like Will Smith in I Am Legend.
Did you?
Like just walking through, a less attractive, shorter Will Smith walking through I Am Legend. It was bizarre. It was bizarre. But I was talking to my dad, he's a refugee who ran away from a dictator, right? And he said in a weird way, he thinks it's good for the world. Not the deaths and stuff, but just that everyone will now understand what he discovered when he had to run away, is you can lose everything. Everything you take, you can lose everything. And ever since, he really appreciates life. Because he once had a nice business and he had to run away, leave it.
Do you think we'll come back with that appreciation, or do you think the human mind forgets easily?
Not everyone. I think everyone will. I think everyone will.
I hope so.
Because
it feels that way, doesn't it?
It feels that way because just like we were at a show, everybody was so happy to just be at a show. People were giving a joke which is worth a small laugh, a huge laugh. Because they're just like, yes,
we're out.
This is life, we're out. They're just so
humans
happy.
everywhere. Let's do this.
Also for dating, okay, I'll be honest, like on the apps, I swipe for people who I would not have swiped last year. Because you're just like, well, it's better than lonely. Okay,
so now's the time for the single one.
Is the time.
And now I can picture you in your living room just going...
just anyone.
Someone out there. So tolerance levels have been lowered then, that's what we're saying.
That's a really nice picture in my head now. I've got friends who pre-lockdown would do that, just
do that.
Right swipe, and then to see.
That's mainly men, that I think.
Actually, it's only men who do that.
I don't want to say that, you know, but you're right.
So let's talk about international gigs then, because you've literally done the world.
Everywhere. Everywhere, nomad with jokes for hire. Really fun experiences in some of them. Like one of my favorite experiences was actually in Rwanda. Right.
Okay.
Now Rwanda, like they invited me to come for a comedy festival, and I was like, "Wow, I'll do that." The interesting thing is, maybe I shouldn't tell promoters in the world, I will go to a place I've never been just to go, even if the money is low. I'm like, I've never been there. Let me go there. So I went there, and there was this amazing thing which they did. The last night when we were there, the next morning we're going to the airport, and the taxi driver said, "Oh, I have to pick you up really early at 6 a.m. And I was like, "But the flight's at noon." He said, No, we have a thing every month. Everybody has to clean the streets. Okay? It's a thing, I think it's called Umuganda, right? Okay. So in memory of the terrible things which happened there, once a month, everybody, be you rich, be you poor, cleans the streets together.
Even a guest of the country, right?
Guest.
Okay, everybody.
If they see you on the streets on that day, they will stop you. You have to get out and clean the streets.
Wow.
Right? I mean, just absolutely beautiful, but I could not imagine it working. Could you imagine in Manchester, people trying to... But it was actually a really beautiful thing. And I was like, I wish it had actually happened the day before, because I would have joined in. But no, we had to just go sneak out and fly out of the country.
So they collected you early so you didn't have to.
So that I could avoid it, because they wouldn't have let me get to the airport. I would have been there doing it.
Can you imagine that in Manchester, though? Just
yeah.
You, sir. Pick up that. Fuck off, mate.
Yeah,
all right.
2 words.
Fine.
Yeah, not happening. Yeah.
So what's the best country, though? What's been the most kind of interesting? Is there any stories that kind of...
The best one was going to Australia, right? But this was the thing, was I had never in my life been flown to go to a gig, right?
Okay.
So part of it was... I couldn't believe I'm being hired. Like, I was on the plane, and there were people like, Stephen K. Amos was there, like Daniel Kitson was there, and I was like, I'm a real comedian.
One of these guys. I'm one of these guys. Yeah.
So it was, the whole experience for me was absolutely astonishing. I was on like a package show with real comedians like Tom Stade and stuff. And so that was the best one, partly because I was like a kid, mind blown by the experience. But in terms of like, if I just my favorite experience was probably Malawi, because Malawi is my home country.
Yeah.
There'd never been stand-up there before, right? We put it on. It just like a function room. Didn't know what was going to happen, and people lost their minds. It was just absolutely amazing, because it was like guerrilla comedy in a room where the show before me was a gospel. Like before,
Same audience.
different audience, but the last person before me was a guy preaching. It was wonderful,
wow.
wonderful.
What's the best countries? No, so which country gives the best heckles?
Best heckles.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really like being, but I've been heckled the most in the UK.
Really, I suspected that would be your answer.
Do you know what I think? Though a lot of that is English people. It's the arrogance of not being the center of attention. So a lot of them, which is you get. Don't get me wrong. More often than not, gigs are great.
I have a different theory.
Oh, really?
It's not the arrogance. It's the booze.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If there was an Olympic drinking sport, you would leave everyone behind.
Colin would.
You know when? Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I used to be a big drinker.
Yeah.
even so, during lockdown, that kind of came back. Ended up with Danny DeVito, didn't it?
Yeah, we'll talk about that on another show.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that on another show.
But the thing with the UK circuit, though, because you're right, if you go to a theatre, you're fine.
You're fine.
But when you go to a club and then you walk in, it's like a poster, like 5 Jaeger bombs for a fiver, you're going,
this is going to be a
well, crowds like egg each other on groups of guys and women, but women are the worst. But
it's also, this is the problem, is when a group of guys are there, you can rip them apart if they heckle you. If you're heckled by a group of women, you have to be very careful in that you have to swat them, but if you go too far, the crowd will turn against you.
Right,
so it's a whole balance thing.
Is it a UK thing, heckling, though, or do you find it in other countries?
Do you know, I don't have mass experience. The gigs I've been to abroad are kind of, like say, we mentioned Croatia, Slovenia, they were just grateful for the entertainment, so there was no heckling. When you go to kind of holiday, English people on holiday. So we did one in Malta once, and that was a great, similar to you. I flew out with these comedians, but when we got at the airport, there was a big billboard with all our faces on it, and I was like, this is madness.
So good.
But yeah, so I don't have the experience of that. I know in the UK it's rife. I've heard loads about it in America. America just seems so friendly. Like, you can just say where you are in America and it'll get a cheer, won't it? So it's kind of, each crowd is so. But even within the UK, you got the north-south divide. That's definitely a thing.
Definitely a thing. There are definite cities I prefer most. My favorite places to perform are like Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, and it's a certain income and kind of city where I do better. I don't know. There's just they feel more like Africa. I don't know why. I don't know why. But there's just something like give me like, Liverpool over like Oxford. Give me like Birmingham over like Windsor. I know my people. I know my people.
Yes, we're very similar in that respect.
Yes.
Well, we know where to book you for then.
Yes, true. Though my tour date in Oxford, if anybody's watching,
can we just pick that back up,
please?
Yeah.
I was just joking. Okay.
No, well, I'd say definitely go now and start heckling the shit out of you.
That's what they need to do. They need to defend their honor. That's
a good sales pitch, that, actually.
Actually,
Yes.
I think we need to talk about Britain's Got Talent,
Let's
because
do it.
that was, I think, when you became you were obviously massive on the circuit, and everybody
also
knew
I can even link it to during lockdown. I this is actually a bit embarrassing, but I was really lonely, and sometimes when I was lonely, I would go for my walk and I would wear my Britain's Got Talent jacket.
Brilliant.
Because then someone will recognize me and I can speak to another human being.
Yeah, but think of what you did for their day.
You didn't even need the jacket. You could just put it on the street and go, "What's that?" Yeah. No, you do much. All right, fine. Just someone will bite eventually.
I should have made like my ringtone, the BGT theme or something. Just someone, please.
Just keep answering your phone to no one, going, "Yes, I am Amanda Holder's golden buzzer." Right?
Yes,
delete such Amanda. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I was actually in the tabloids because of this. Actually, so beginning of lockdown, you call everybody. Right? Mm-hmm. So one of the people I called was Amanda Holden, just checking, are you okay?
Yeah.
Is your family safe?
Right,
Everything
nice.
good? Right? I mentioned to her that, I'm alone, but I'm doing okay. Next day on her radio show, she said, "Oh, I spoke to Daliso. I was a little concerned because he lives alone, but he's doing fine." Somehow the tabloids ran with this, and there was a headline, Amanda Holden, concerned for Daliso Chaponda. Right, next thing, I start getting messages, don't give up. People calling me, so concerned. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And they just manufactured drama out of like a little soundbite. But everybody knows that's what the British tabloids do. But it was so bizarre. And then, of course, Malawi papers pick it up. And then, like, my family's concerned about me, and I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm really busy. I'm answering everybody's calls.
It was really sweet, though, in a weird way, because even though it was all nonsense, the amount of friends who called me concerned was really sweet.
I suppose the time to worry is when it's silent.
Yeah.
That headline's out and everyone's like, oh, well, never mind.
In the paper again.
So does the novelty ever wear off of being on something like that?
No, because I had done little bits of telly before, and it's a different kind of show. There's a video I've got with 100 million people have watched it, right? And there's nothing that can prepare you for 100 million people knowing who you are. So I'll be like, I'll do a gig in Mauritius, and the hotel owner will lose their mind because it's me. And then I'll go to Singapore. It's global in a way that, like, any other telly I had done, as much as I loved it, it's also, because it's a competition, people are really invested, so they remember you.
Please tell me that impressed your dad.
Oh, my dad. They flew my dad here.
Brilliant.
And he was he was so happy. He was so happy. And also, again, he doesn't understand comedy, but he understands things like, they treated us so well. They put us in a nice hotel. That to him means this is good.
This is a good thing.
That's that kind of respect thing, isn't it? You're Daliso's family, so we're gonna look after you.
You created him.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that then made him think, okay, you're fine now. This is.
What was it like the going out on the final then? So you're in the final of one of the biggest shows on TV, and this is. I mean, by this point, it's a game changer.
The truth is, I had fun for the whole show. Didn't get to my head. I was having fun, but the final, I became another version of myself.
I'm feeling nervous right now just thinking about it.
Yeah, because I'll admit, I never actually thought I could win. And then I got to the final, and then I was like, I could win. And you just become a worse version of yourself because you can't go and be funny while in your head you're thinking, £250,000. That's very distracting.
I thought you would say people then.
I forgot a punchline. And what's funny is there are comics who know me, who've watched the show, and they said, you forgot that punchline, didn't you? And I said, I did. I was thinking about £250,000.
You should just gone on in a suit made of money. Just go in. It's not changed me.
But it sounds like it doesn't go away, though, in terms of, like, the institution of Britain's Got Talent. Like, that's like the fact that you've stayed in touch with the judges and things like that.
Yes, and also it's like, I've had lots of opportunities since, which wouldn't have happened. So it gave me the springboard. Like, I got a radio show. I probably wouldn't have got that radio show if they weren't like, people are going to tune in when he's on. And so it's like that.
Well, you've proven yourself.
It's a ripple effect. Like, I got the Royal Variety. I probably wouldn't have got it if it was. So everything since has been given a little bit of a.
So you would recommend it then? So if we kind of like challenged our Colin here to maybe do it,
I think you should do it. Because also you've got a backup plan. I'll give you my backup plan. When I did it, I was like, imagine I'm terrible. If I'm terrible, I'm going to tour a show called "How Terrible Was I on BGT?"
Yeah, the shit Manford.
Exactly, because this is the thing. Is like, as long as you've got a plan for if it goes horribly.
Yeah. But this is the first time ever where I'll probably call the show. Yes, I am Jason's brother.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes. Oh my God. I'll tell you what's hilarious is I would go watch the shit Manfred. It's just funny. It's just
I've tried too hard being funny.
Yeah, you've tried to hide it. That's the problem.
Right, so
just own it.
I'm going to go and just bomb so hard on BGT. Yeah. Oh man. But I definitely. I have been fascinated by the BGT stuff, and I've been tempted to do it, and I've been asked to do it in the past.
I think you should
it's also weird to be in competition with an 8-year-old. Right?
And not want anything good for them.
Yeah, and this is like a cute, wonderful human being, and you're like, I hope you trip on stage. It's like, you don't expect that of yourself. And later you're like, I need to do some soul searching.
But that is crazy, because do you know what? One thing that genuinely one thing that put me off applying in the past is it's great when you go on there, you got to do your, like I was watching yours as well, and you go on, the judges ask you some questions, who are you, where you're from, this, that, and the other, and then it's like, okay, go. But for stand-up, you get introduced, here's Daliso Chaponda, here's Colin Manford, you come on and go, hello, whereas you almost have to chat, and then go,
No,
Oh.
but I'll tell you that I'm giving away secrets.
Come on, do it. Come on.
But, like,
I need this.
yeah, we
Any
need it.
comedian who has been a host can do it. Because when you walk on, you're not chatting.
Yes.
You are comparing the judges.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Ah, good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Don't do your
the
roping
first
lines
thing
out.
if you notice, the people who do well, you get your laughs before you've started.
Yeah.
Because each response to a judge is a joke.
It's a personality thing as well. As you get your personality across, that's half the battle, I guess. Interesting.
Could maybe hide a little bit of yours.
I mean, I can't do a lot of mine, but
You need a lot of new material.
I might hire Daliso as a writer. He got to the final. He knows what they like.
Well, maybe this time next year we'll be sat here with someone that's been another person that's been on Britain's Got Talent.
I know, right?
Yeah.
If not, we'll go in the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the audience for Britain's Got Talent. I think it was the first year. I think Diversity were on it, and is it George Sampson who then they brought him back
The dancer?
No, I think it was Diversity with the dancers. And there was a kid, and they said to him on the show, "We're going to bring you back another year," and then they did, and he won. I was like, wow.
I'll tell you a little tidbit I've not told people. Part of the reason I did well, I can never thank this so much, was Before Me was one of the shittest acts ever. Because I knew that if before me someone made everyone cry, doesn't matter how funny I am.
Yeah,
no
you brought
chance,
the mood,
right?
yeah.
But I was on after the Spice Boys.
Oh, right.
Oh, was that shown on TV?
No,
Say
they
no
weren't
more.
shown on
Oh,
TV.
fine then.
Shame.
And they were so bad, but hilariously bad. And Simon was very upset because, they got through, two of the other judges said it's fine, right? And when I came on, he was like, "What did you think of that?" And it gave me something to talk about, which was never aired, but I got laughs ripping
Right.
them to
Yeah,
shreds.
brilliant.
And it was just like, it also calmed me down because
Yeah.
I was laughing at how bad they were.
Yeah.
And it was just like, by the time I got to my stuff, I was okay.
So you've done your bit and you're prepared then for the yes, because that's what you would have got.
Yeah.
But when she hit
Oh, I
the
didn't
golden
expect
buzzer,
that. I didn't expect
was
that.
it? Could you even remember?
I lost my
it?
mind. I
Yeah.
lost my mind because I've looked at the footage and I've been like, why am I smiling so much? I just became like the Cheshire Cat. I was so happy. I was so shocked because I know I'm funny, but I know I don't do anything like crazy. Like if you look at people who win buzzers, it's usually people who do something like they stuck a sword in their mouth.
Yeah,
It's something crazy.
yeah.
So I didn't expect, because I'm like, I'm funny, but people know funny. It's
Yeah.
usually when something's weird.
Something unusual.
Something
that's
unusual.
entertaining.
What
So-
was
so
like then
wonderful.
once you hit the gold, and it's just because it's even when you watch it on TV, even if you don't watch Britain's Got Talent, you watch a golden buzzer moment, it's goosebumps.
Well, everyone's seen it because it's everywhere.
The other
isn't it?
thing which is amazing about it is, this is what I've realized, is people remember the buzzers more than they remember anything else of
Yes,
it.
yeah.
So that's why I'm recognized in different countries, because of the drama of
Yeah.
the buzzer.
Well, do you know what? I can't wait.
I feel like we need to
I'm
go
going to
out
apply
now.
tonight.
Apply!
I'm
Yeah,
going to apply
let's
for
do
it,
it.
and we'll have an
Let's
update
do
next
it.
week. Do you know what? It's just flown by.
Yeah, Daliso,
So
we
bad.
could talk to you for hours. I think
Excellent.
it's
Come back next month. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Also, aren't we talking about, what was it, pointless purchases?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We
haven't even got time.
Totally missed the segment.
Oh,
yeah, we
I had
haven't even
the
got
funniest
time.
story. I had the funniest story.
Well, maybe we'll do. Go
Let's
on,
do it then.
go on. We're getting the thumbs up.
Encore.
Because
You're right.
when I came out, I was told you
Yeah,
said
we
we were
planned
going to
this,
talk
yeah.
about pointless purchases. So during my desperate flirting, I ended
love this
up
story already.
talking
Yeah.
to a really kinky woman.
Oh.
Right, really, really kinky.
Can I just say the guys behind are so grateful now. They said continue. Yeah.
Hey,
Right?
like a meerkat over there.
Right,
Yes, yes.
and she liked like domination and all sorts of
Oh,
stuff, and she
okay.
was really kinky. And I ordered, right? I ordered a custom-made necklace which says "slut" on it, right? And it's like really and then the back and forth broke down.
Oh
right?
God.
So I never got to give it to her. We never got to use it. Now I just have this necklace. I just have this random kinky necklace sitting in my flat.
That says slut.
Yes.
Did it break down after you told her what you
Oh
bought
no,
for
she
her?
doesn't know that I bought that for her.
what you
oh,
missing
no,
out on?
She would have loved it. It was just up her alley. Oh no, she was all into that.
Well,
Well, a lot of things are up
let's
her
not
alley.
talk
It
about
sounds
what's
like.
up anybody's alley right now.
But it's
Wow.
just hilarious because, she changed her mind because of all sorts of stuff, which is her personal business. But still, it left me with this, and I'm just like,
Constant reminder.
I ordered it prematurely.
Can we ask how much it cost?
Oh, it cost a few £100.
Really?
They're not that bad. They were
Wow.
Custom-made slut necklace. Well, you would have won the segments.
Yeah, because now a tortilla warmer that keeps them warm for an hour by Stuart is really not going to be.
Or a bacon-scented moustache, not quite the same, is
not
it?
the same. Well, she might like that. We don't know.
Well,
we don't know.
Each their right. Well,
If she ever contacts you, make sure you ask her.
This is true.
anyway, she's on next week's show, so we'll find out what she has to say.
She'll be missing a
She
necklace.
might actually be watching now that I think about it.
She may be gutted right now.
She might be.
Inbox this evening. So anything before we go? Anything you want to plug?
Yes, I'm on tour. It's called Apocalypse Not Now, going across all of the UK.
Brilliant.
Just come.
How will people
Meet
find
people.
that? Where can
if
people
they
get
go
tickets?
to africancomedian.com,
Yeah.
I bought it first. It's got all the dates, and new dates are being added.
We'll add all that to our...
Please just come, because
Brilliant.
it'll be odd at first, socially distant, and then we're going to ramp up. It's what I'm expecting to happen is the show's going to start like this, and people are going to start getting closer and closer together.
That would be amazing.
And at every one of his shows, he's handing out a raffle ticket, and at the end of the tour, someone's getting a slut necklace. So
Brilliant idea.
USP right there.
Right there.
Well, maybe you could give it to Colin, and at the end of Britain's Got Talent next year, you can give it to Amanda and say, I've got you a little...
I disagree with this.
Yeah.
I can't laugh at that joke.
He's not giving it away.
He's not laughing at that joke.
I'm not having that joke. I'm not.
He's not letting me have
Anyway, right, well, Daliso, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
So, apart from to plug everything, join Daliso's Twitter, Facebook, buy his tour tickets.
Definitely.
Collective Travel, Lorraine Robinson, if you're looking to book a holiday. Colin Manford on the socials as well. Playing comedy on YouTube, Altfeed, Accounts Direct. All of it's going on. Also, see you later, I guess. This is it. We're wrapping it up. I'm in such a good mood.
We're all
You kind of brought a buzz to this. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Joining next week, we've got Freddie Quinn joining us next week. So we are going to have guests on each week now, which is going to be very
fantastic.
Fun.
Colin's just committed himself there to 52 lineup.
Yeah, well, Daliso's doing 7 or 8 of them. It's fine.
We've
got more stories. We've got more stories to come, haven't we?
We've got loads.
I've got so many necklaces.
I guess it's okay. Yeah, that's one lockdown cover. What happened to the other 2?
Wonderful.
Oh dear.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. It's been amazing.
Right,
so thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah.
Well,
and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah.